All right, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look at this godforsaken image that somebody has sent this Discord chat.
It's cute.
Okay, it's not that bad.
That is kind of cute, actually.
Jaws.
Why is
Jaws.
half of our humor is just us saying words wrong?
Because mispronouncing words purposefully is hilarious.
It's the highest form of humor.
It's millennials.
Really is.
It's millennial culture, guys. It's millennial.
There's a
culture.
cheese upvote.
There's a cheese up there.
Everybody
Cheers.
up cheese the vote.
Choice.
Up dupe the cheese. Hello, friends. This is Marlo Bogus, and you're listening to Sins of the Father.
If you don't come into a game with this kind of energy, I don't want you in my game.
I love that one.
But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
If you don't come into the game with that kind of energy, you're not at my table.
Fair enough.
Chaos. Such a funny comic.
Chaos and
I think I have that issue. I think I have that issue of Amazing Spider-Man somewhere.
Such a weird comic.
I love it.
It's good.
But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
It's like,
I can.
fair enough.
I get that. I get that.
I get that. I understand.
Have the people in this call, since we're recording, this will timestamp this for you. See the new images they released for the Masters of the Universe. The new animated show. Yeah.
Oh. Masters of the Universe.
I have the power.
The power!
I
We're all
will
neutral.
destroy you, He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, those look real nice.
It does. But if we're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Who wants to hit us with a recap?
Previously on Sins of the Father, the kids did parkour through a building.
The Warren Bossing say
There is no Warren Bossing.
They met them papas.
does not exist. So yeah, previously on Sins of the Father, we found our dads. We did it. Game over. We can end the show.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody.
But first, roll initiative.
Oh, hell.
Oh, I need dice.
Dice are
I'm just
probably
kidding. They're
necessary.
right here. I'm kidding.
Funny.
Oh my gosh.
Did you roll badly, David?
I rolled a natural 20, y'all.
Oh, look at you.
What's your
Nice.
total?
It's a total of 19.
I got an 18.
Oh yeah, well I got a 3.
7.
I got a rock.
This
You got
road
a
is
3?
slow. I got a 3.
You got a 3?
2
Go
plus
ahead and
1.
get those out now. Get it out now.
Yeah,
I'm
get
okay
them
with
out
it.
right now.
I'm okay
Ricketts
with a
burned
3 on
a
initiative.
20.
I'm okay with a 3 on initiative. It's fine.
And by the way, I have said this, but I'll say it again at the start of the session.
Because it's been
That
like
my-
a month.
Yeah, my portent rolls are a 19 and a 6.
That's a good spread.
Yeah, I hold creation and destruction in either hand.
That's real good. It's nice to have that.
Oof, this is a 9-character initiative going on.
That's a
Oh,
lot.
I've got my phone up. I've got my
Oh yeah, because there's 4 of
laptop
us.
turned
the
on.
dads. Yeah.
And
You got a lot of characters to deal with.
oh, you better. I just need to actually turn on the clock for the recording.
Oh, I'm so excited. I want to see what these papas can do.
Well, that's good and all, but starting things off,
Yeah.
going first in initiative with a 19. Ricket.
Yeah. So describe the scene to me again. Like, how far away am I? Where are the bad guys
I'll
at?
be real with you, Chief. I don't remember how far away you are. It's within
I
like
think-
15 feet.
Okay,
I was
we're
gonna say,
real
yeah.
close.
What was
Oh,
the radius of your
You are
bubble?
within. You are within 15 feet of Rickard.
Okay.
The other 3 were closer towards the monster.
Okay. Well, Ricket is standing there with his oversized breastplate mage armor up around his ears and down over his knees. And his legs just start to shake and tears start to form at the corner of his eyes behind his big round glasses. And he's like, Father! Does Rickard turn around?
No. That was a bad roll.
Oh man.
He is focused on the giant, possibly world-ending monster in front of you.
I'm gonna be real
Preparing
honest.
his next spell.
I'm gonna be real honest. That's Ricket's turn.
Which brings us to Yabo.
Is there a is my pappy still holding that big ol' juicy tentacle?
Yes, he is. Currently using the spirit of the great eagle, which you see cloaked around him, almost a physical form. Yarba is contesting this creature's strength with his own bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
God, what do I even do here? I'm gonna smack the tentacle with my hammer.
The one he's holding?
Is that the only one I can get to?
No. There's a multitude of tentacles
They're like-
on the right and left of you.
Okay, I'm
In
gonna
front
get this
of
the
you
one.
is the giant toothy maw of death.
Okay.
To describe
Is the toothy maw of death in spear throwing distance?
With your unarmored movement, you could get within range to full force throw the spear.
All right, I want to do that. Time to chuck a spear. Okay. 13.
You take the spear and you sprint forward, furiously throwing it with all your might towards this giant monster, and you see it go into the toothy maw, but you're not sure whether it hurt or not. And sprinting past Rickard, there's an audible
What?
as you just full force sprint past him.
What? Cool. Okay, that's it. That's all I got.
Which brings us to Varaton. I'd say only Vartash, because everyone is kind of fixated on their own dad right now.
Sure.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. I'm alright with those. Oh, 19.
So you see Varaton dashing in and around all these tentacles, avoiding all the debris and destruction. He has some sort of glowing sphere that you see arcane energy coming out of, clutched close to his chest. As you see him, like watching his movement, he is in a straight line, running at something, holding this magical artifact, you would assume, before he slips past one of the tentacles as it slams down, and there's a giant puff of smoke and dust, and you lose sight of him. He's doing what rogues do.
Indeed.
Despite the confusion at seeing a young boy run past him into this fight where he was sure that there was no other living beings in this entire city, you watch Rickard dripping with sweat as he starts tracing a large arcane symbol in front of him, as multiple glyphs and sigils start floating through the air. You all notice that the surrounding area is getting brighter as there's a split second where you look up and these sigils are showing up above this creature in the air as he pulls from a pouch a pendant that looks like a sunburst and slams it into the arcane sigils. You watch as a beam of pure sunlight bores down on top of this creature. He casts Dawn. As you can see it physically burning this monster. And with that, he maintains his position and does not move.
Damn. 40, 10 radiant damage?
And it's a
That's
concentration spell. It's gonna keep just beaming this thing.
Like in Final Fantasy when you see it do like 468 damage and you see it go boop.
Yeah. Pretty much. See, he's already in a rage. It is Yarba's turn in combat. He is going to make a contested melee or strength check against this thing using. So he wins. Just for you guys to know, I rolled 2 natural 20s because he's doing advantage on his strength stuff. In this contest of wills, you see Yarba standing his ground against this monster as the embodiment of the Great Eagle's spirit from behind him. You see it detach itself and slam into the side of the tentacle, knocking it off of Yarba as he jumps up on top of it, as he brandishes a maul and begins charging up the tentacle at the monster. So, being the astute performer that he is, Latalio is the first person to notice the children on approach, and without even skipping a beat, he is going to begin playing on his lute a song that builds up a wellspring of hope and vitality in each of you as he casts Beacon of Hope.
Nice.
Thanks, Papa.
So, for
That's
the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saves and death saves, and when healing, you regain the maximum number of hit points possible.
Excellent.
Oh, wow. And what's the range on that?
30 feet. He moves back. I forgot
He's
to say
getting
that.
all
Yes.
of us.
He moves
sweet.
back towards the rest of the group because the other two have run off doing
They
whatever
gone.
they're doing. So with that tune echoing through the air, Evalia, it's your turn.
She feels this sort of swell in her chest as her father plays the tune, and then she gives him a glance and then looks at the monster and pulls her lute around and strums her fingers moving so fast in this plinking sort of playful sound of fairy fire. She casts it on the monster. And she turns to the others and says, "Come on, guys! We gotta get him!" As a reminder, fairy fire gives anyone advantage on an attack roll against it.
Does it make a save?
And
for
it
that?
cannot benefit for being invisible.
I'm gonna be real with the Chief. It's like a deck save or something. It ain't winning. Yeah, it's going to auto fail because this thing is too large to not get hit.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, it's shining this sort of pinkish purple light out of it, and outlining it in this glow. And then she turns to her dad and looks at him and smiles and plays a little quick tune for Bardic Inspiration. She's giving the bard Bardic Inspiration.
What is your inspiration die?
D6, yeah.
Keep that in mind.
She's showing off in front of her dad. She's playing with him.
Got to get a duet going on here.
Yeah, there you go.
Vartash.
Yeah, so I watched my father run in a direction and then a tentacle slammed down and caused a cloud of dust.
Yes, you saw him duck under and avoid the tentacle.
Okay.
It didn't hit him, but its slam made a giant cloud of dust.
Is the tentacle still on the ground? Or has
Yes.
it lifted? Oh, okay. Vartosh sees this. He yells out, "Father!" What? He looks over at the closest adult next to him. Where is he going?
The closest to you would still be Rickard.
Okay.
As you call out to him, he, in a panic, turns, hearing that there's more people here, and locks eyes with Rickett. And you see there's that he's trying to say something, but he can't get the words out as you watch the large symbol in the air fizzle out.
Oh no!
Oh no, I made him lose concentration.
Oh, it's so sweet.
As even from this little bit away, you can see on him, the Rickard, tears welling in his eyes.
And I think you see Rickett kind of standing silhouetted by the dust and tentacles, just like this far away shot. And you see tears streaming down his face as he's just kind of standing there in his bulky armor, holding his spellbook against his chest, just staring back at his dad.
Vartosh sees the futility in it and just runs off toward where his father went. And I guess fires a shot up at the beast while he goes for it.
Does this get advantage because of fairy fire?
Advantage?
You get advantage because there's allies within 5 feet of it.
Oh, that's fair.
One of them is currently running up it.
That's fair. I'm glad I got advantage. Jesus. I rolled a 3 and then a 19. So,
Nice.
that's much better.
You hit it.
Cool. So it's a d8 plus 1 plus 2d6 because I have sneak attack. So it's going to be 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 4 is 14 damage.
So as you're sprinting through this chaos looking for your father, you fire off that quick, hastily aimed shot of your pistol, but you've started getting used to it. And with everything going on, you feel that hope, you feel confidence flowing through you again. As the shot slams into one of those squishy, yellow, porous eyes, and you see it rupture and explode, spewing a gout of acid out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Yabo, Ivalia, Vitalio, Rickard, and Ricket. All give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
I
13.
3.
Would you get a 13?
Yeah.
A 3?
Oh, no.
6.
All the kids are dead.
So
All the kids are dead.
I've got some shenanigans I can do with some reactions. Because the only one who succeeded was Vitalio.
Oh, really? Yabo didn't even succeed? Wow.
So, okay. One of the massive tentacles that earlier you had seen clutching a building and had ripped part of it off, throws it at the spot all of you are, and debris begins buffeting the entire area, causing, be glad, only 13 bludgeoning damage.
That's still more than half of most of our healths.
Yes.
I have 1 health left.
Oh, wizard.
Dude, I'm not even raging right now. I don't even get to half this.
Nope.
Ugh. What an idiot.
To be fair,
Pencil.
we're children fighting an end-game level boss.
Probably should have been worse.
Oh boy.
Ricket, it's your turn.
Okay. Ricket pops back up, real messed up. Maybe I shouldn't say pops back up. He like climbs out of the wreckage. He's gonna call out, Father, are you okay?
He's going to point at the children he can see and yell, "Group up!"
Yes, Father. I've been looking for you, your innocence. I'm so happy to see you.
You see a kind of sad smile on his face as he pulls out of from under his very similar looking mage armor, an orb that looks to be of some kind of arcane nature, like seeping energy, and throws it at you. And yells catch, of course.
Catch.
I try to catch it.
For cinematic purposes, you catch it.
Okay.
Don't need this thing. Ting, just rolling down the steps you just ran up.
Just it with his fingertips.
Exactly. Yeah, it hits his palms, like flat against his palms, and he juggles it back and forth a few times, and he finally grabs it with his fingertips, like he said. What is it?
You are unsure.
Alright, well, I grab it in both hands very carefully, and I say, Everyone, group up here! And then I will take out my wand and say, Father, I can help! Get him! And I will cast Firebolt at one of the tentacles. And I rolled, that's not bad. That's a 15 to hit.
That does hit it. Yes.
Okay. And I deal 4 fire damage.
Yes, a solid amount.
And that will end my turn.
So you're not moving? You're going to stay where you are, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay where I am. So he said like group up, and he pointed at. Or are all the other kids together, or are we all spread out?
Yabo ran forward.
Okay.
You haven't moved, right?
Yeah, I have not moved.
So you and Avalia are together.
Okay.
Vartosh sprinted off towards the big pluming cloud of dust on the left side.
Okay. Yeah, I just shout out, "Everybody group up here!" and shoot that firebolt off, hoping everybody will come gather.
Okay, so Yabo, it's your turn.
You want us to come gather? I will gather, because I'm not doing anything useful over here. I'll come back. Okay, Rickett, I'm with you. Can I be close to him and still like swing at something with my maul, or like hit something on my way over there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna wallop it.
Wallop away.
Oh, sweet. A 22.
That definitely hits.
9 damage.
So running past, you run parallel to one of the larger tentacles. You see there's just this brief moment where you perfectly align as you rear back and slam into one of those giant eyeballs on the side of the tentacle. And you feel that satisfying reverb of the hammer connecting, and a pop from the eye as you keep sprinting past it. As behind you, there's just a gout of acid that just sprays across the floor. And you make your way over to Rickett and Evalia.
Okay. What's the plan?
Hello friends, and welcome back to episode 16 of Sins of the Father. I'm your Dungeon Master, Jackson Chandler. I've got just a few things to go over before we get back to the episode. We did recently break our $500 milestone on Patreon, which lets us give a pay bump to all our network editors. Alongside that, we were also able to release a merch store, which we'll be filling with all of your misconceptions and Sins of the Father nerdy needs. Don't forget to support us on iTunes. If you leave us a review, send us a copy of it to misconceptionspod@gmail.com to receive a free Sins of the Father decal. I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's get back into this exciting episode.
My father threw this orb. I'm sure it's magical, maybe abjurative, maybe it's some powerful spell, but he said we must all be together to use it.
Okay.
With that, it's Rickard's turn as he quickly runs up to the three of you and locks eyes with you, Rickett, as you see him begin casting a spell as he pulls out a clear crystal ball. As he begins tracing out the arcane symbols, you see the crystal ball separate itself, and he pulls out something else that you don't quite notice and smears it across the ball. You see it completely vanish as a much larger version of it appears and assembles itself around the three of you And as he begins pushing the ball itself, it moves with the three of you in it. He points off in a direction to the right and says,
Whatever you do, don't stop, no matter what you might see.
He's pointing us in a direction away from the monster.
Monster's in front. Vartosh went to the left. He's pointing you to the right. And the monster, it's kind of like a semicircle kind of layout for your brain picture. So it kind of loops all around the monster itself is kind of in the center of this.
Okay.
And he's sending you off in a direction around the side of it.
Okay, little monkey ball situation. Okay.
Yes.
Ricket from inside the globe says, Father, are you coming with us? What about you?
As the ball is still continuously rolling, you're getting further and further away from him, and he shouts,
I have to help my friends.
But
I'm trusting you with this, Ricket.
Dad, I just got you back.
and a tentacle slams down in between you and Rickard, but it catches the edge of the sphere, and to your surprise, the three of you in this orb, it doesn't shatter as the tentacle slams into it, and you get this burst of speed and momentum from just the sheer force of the tentacle hitting you, tumbling further away from that central location, off in the direction Rickard pointed.
And Rickard just calls out, Dad! And skitters off in the globe.
Vartosh,
Yes.
it's your turn. You are currently dashing through a dusty cloud trying to avoid these large, massive tentacles.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep running in that direction.
Give me a perception check.
Sure. 16 plus 2. Yeah, 18.
So, darting in and around these tentacles and massive pieces of debris, you do keep seeing this faint blue glow in the distance that you recognize as the device that your dad was holding.
Mhm.
And you continue running forward, trying to get to it, and you notice you're gaining on it. It seems to be sitting in one spot, not moving.
I will run up to it. Father?
And you see, laying on the ground, is this orb, kind of wedged in between pieces of debris, but you don't see your father anywhere else. As you hear your name get called out,
Vartosh!
and you see from above you, faintly, just the silhouette of a figure with a rope swinging down through the dust. As you pick up the artifact, you feel just the weight of someone's arm catch around you, and the momentum lifts you off your feet as you are now swinging through the air. And you look up to see, clutching the rope in one hand, your father, steely-eyed, eyes darting back and forth like he's looking for something.
Father! What is this?
Without looking at you, he replies, thinking you're talking about the thing you're holding.
That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Because regardless, that's what he was going to talk about. That's the only thing he's focused on right now, outside of you being here.
Sure.
But he's pretending not to be concerned with that. And he tells you,
It's part of the mechanism to seal this thing!
as being pulled out of the dust, finally, your eyes, you blink, and you realize that this rope he's hanging on is attached to a tentacle. Vartan lets go of the rope at the apex of its swing, launching you and him, but he's clutching close to you, onto one of the tentacles. So a much similar sliding down the tentacle. You see this massive, it was hidden by the tentacles before, obelisk that you see has a faint arcane glow to it. And you are heading straight for it.
Is that the mechanism?
And he shouts back as he pushes you off of him, giving you more momentum.
I'll distract it! Get that thing on!
And he hurls you off of the tentacle.
Okay.
Vivalia, it's your turn. You can't see the fathers, so you don't know what they're doing anymore.
So are we tumbling around in this ball like when the ball starts moving too fast and there's a hamster inside and it's just like going end over end inside?
I'll say, just so that situation doesn't happen, it's like this close to it as it hits a wall of a piece of building and kind of stops itself.
Okay. Valia, like, totally shocked and surprised by all of this, is like, no, we're supposed to help. What are we doing in this thing? What did your dad do? And she looks over at Ricket and sees how, like, beaten up he looks, and like reaches out and like grabs him like by the cloak and like pulls him forward and like puts her hand on his face just because she's like stumbling and trying to get it right, and just ends up like kind of like half-ass slapping him in the face, but casts Cure Wounds. And so when you gain, so when you said you gain HP, you gain as much as possible? Is that what it was?
Yeah, for the duration, you have advantage on wisdom saves, death saves, and when healing, you regain the maximum number possible. So
Okay.
whatever your Cure Wounds die is, it's automatically maxed.
Okay. And we lost how much? 13 last time? So
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast it at first level. So it's 1d8 plus 2. So
10.
10.
Nice.
Beacon of Hope's a pretty fancy spell.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's a cleric spell.
It is.
Yeah, so she grabs him like by the cloak, by the collar of his cloak, slaps her hand on his face, and like lets out this like belting tune like ah! And like
That reverberates in the sphere.
I'm gonna look over at Yabo with wide eyes and like hum a little tune and give him Bardic Inspiration. So that's a 1d6 inspiration die you can add to.
Take it.
Are you gonna do any movement? Try and move this ball?
Yeah, I guess whatever direction his dad said to go. So like after doing that, kind of like toss Ricket to the ground and just start running that direction, trying to move the ball.
You feel like that momentum, inertia start to actually build up as all of you see that you are now moving forward in the ball. As all of you are rolling in this ball, these tentacles have not let up, just wanton destruction, destroying everything around them. But they can't seem to penetrate this sphere you're in.
You could say
As with
it's
every
very
blow,
resilient.
you would say it's quite resilient. As with every blow, there is that like loss of balance and shaking, but you continue to slowly roll forward through this destruction. Ricket, it's your turn.
Picking myself up off the globe floor, I kind of run my blue sleeve against my nose, wipe away my snot and tears, and I start running and propelling the globe forward.
As you're running, you break free from a cloud of dust, and you see this towering, for what you would say, obelisk in front of you that Ivalia and Ricket, you feel that pulse, that thrum of arcane energy coming off of it faintly, as the orb, Ricket, that you're clutching begins to intensify in its glow.
I think we're supposed to go towards that. And I will start trying to steer the globe as much as I can in that direction.
As you are running full force hamster wheel with everyone else pushing with you forward towards this obelisk, we cut back over to Vartash because it's Vartan's turn. As he thrusts you out, you see him very deftly pull out a shimmering dagger in one hand and what seems to be some kind of firearm that you've never seen before. As he plunges the dagger into the side of the tentacle, cutting along as he's falling, and you hear the rapid fire pow, 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 multiple gunshots.
Does that boy
as
got
he
a
slides
revolver?
down a tentacle
Yeah, he does.
out of view, and you hear and see that a number of those large eyeballs that were watching you, as they turn their attention to you, are just rupturing and exploding as something is hitting them.
Nice.
Cut back to Yabo.
Can I just help roll the ball?
You can help roll the ball using all of your movement, and if you dash, because you're stuck in this sphere for the moment, you can make it to this obelisk.
Alright, that's what I'm doing.
As you all just finally getting the rhythm, all three of you are running at the same speed, pushing forward. You have gained a lot of velocity and just barrel into the side of this obelisk and slam into it. But you don't see any structural damage happen to it, and the orb stops in place. And you see that the edge of the sphere where it just hit the obelisk, there's a crack in it. As you see its spider web, and the whole sphere shatters around you.
Has he turned it off? Did he turn it off or did he get hurt?
Who knows? All you know is what I've told you.
Oh
The sphere is no longer active. So you are exposed to the large tentacles, but that brings us to Ivalia's turn.
So the orb was responding to this obelisk.
Yes.
Is there an obvious spot where it would slide in?
As you all reach up and just recovering from that shock of hitting the obelisk, you regain your senses and you see, almost in response to the orb being this close to the obelisk, these very foreign mechanisms begin to open up and whir apart on the base of the obelisk, and you see a receptacle appear, spherical in nature.
She is going to grab the sphere from Ricket, just like slide her hand in between, in between his hands, and just shove it in there. And you see her grab it, and as she shoves it in there, she kind of misses and kind of like stumbles with it for a second, shoves it in there, and tries slaps it, trying to make sure it goes in, and pulls her hands back.
As you slap it to make sure it goes in and pull your hands back, you hear this whirring click before there's just this pulse just building up within. You see the arcane energy as it hits the top of the obelisk. A barrier of some sort appears around the three of you and the obelisk itself. As you see the top of it, this large blinding light has begun directing itself to somewhere over where the monster is. And with that, there is a large, just echoing roar that just shakes the very foundation of this place from the monster. Vartash, that brings us to your turn as you are currently sliding down one of these black tentacles towards a giant obelisk.
Okay, yeah, I can see the obelisk, and I'm just sliding a tentacle. Okay. As I near the bottom of the tentacle, I'm gonna just kind of jab my short sword into it to slow myself down, trying to emulate my father. And then I will run towards the obelisk.
Being a rogue, you of course have 1,000 feet movement.
I have 30. But I am level...
Yeah.
Do I have... Yeah, I do, I think.
Cunning action.
Yeah, so I can just dash. And then
Yeah.
triple dash. Or double dash.
Like you can do all that movement. You wind your way through the debris and everything as you hit the ground in a full dead sprint. You charge up to the obelisk, and with each step, that orb has gotten more intense with its pulsing and vibrating. As behind you, you feel just the wind pressure and just echoing boom of something big. As you run up to the obelisk, you see a receptacle open up on the edge of it. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm running full tilt, and I just one-hand palm this thing and jam it directly in as I get to the obelisk.
And in a much similar fashion to what happened on the other side, there's that big buildup of arcane energy up to the tip of the obelisk before you see this large shockwave. That all the tentacles that were in close proximity to you, you would also notice this on the other side now, that both have been activated. So everyone sees this. The tentacles that come into contact with these obelisks evaporate as this arcane energy lashes out at them.
Okay.
And the monster lets out just this even louder. You see the actual ground itself cracking as this monster begins writhing around in its rage. And its efforts do not slow down. They seem to be getting more intense and aggressive and ferocious as it begins buffeting with every tentacle it has at these two obelisks, trying to destroy them without any actual success, it would seem, from what all of you see, before you realize that the sound begins to quiet around you, standing in these obelisks, and pointing towards the monster, there almost seems to be an arcane doorway open up, and a bridge, like a walkway, into the monster. It is top of the round, Ricket's turn.
Okay, so the arcane doorway with the pathway leading seemingly into the monster is in front of us.
Yes.
I turn around to look at Ivalia and Yabo, and Ricket says, perhaps we must go in here. We have to help our fathers. We can fight it on the inside. Come on! And I'm gonna sprint in that pathway through the door and, whatever lies beyond.
So is but it's you said it was a door in the monster?
Magical doorway. And you see, like, this bridging path that
Oh, okay.
how it's leading would lead directly into the monster. As you see Ricket sprinting forward and vanish.
Oh no.
Ricket, wait for me! Start running.
Before you can even finish your sentence, Ivalia, Ricket runs off, and as you're like, Yabo just sprints past you and just hits that same doorway and just disappears.
look at where they've just disappeared to, and then look back to where our fathers are, and try to see, like, are they okay? Like, is this the right path?
Give me a perception check. There's lots of chaos happening, but there might be that moment of clarity when you look through.
12.
You can't quite make out specifics, but you do see, looking through this onslaught of tentacles and debris, the very familiar... What color magic was it? Gold?
I think so.
Yeah. The very familiar gold energy, along with that bright blue arcane energy that you've seen Ricket use. You see both of these flashing off and lashing out at the monster itself, but you can't see the two individuals.
You see, like, this, like, this shot of the door and her friends going through it, and then she looks, the camera pans back over as if through her eyes over and sees this magic, and she says, not loud enough so to anybody, but, like, in their direction, "We're gonna save you," and then goes through the door. Runs.
Disappear as the camera switches around through all the debris over to the opposite side of this arena, to Vartash.
Yeah, Vartash just kind of looks around. He sees debris, he sees the tentacles, the monster. Doesn't really know what else to do. So he looks at the door that's just opened up. Well, I suppose that's where we're supposed to go. Here goes nothing! And he runs through it.
And you hit the doorway, and the screen cuts to black. End of episode.
Nice.
By George, he's done it.
By George.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Next episode will be released on July 26th. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Sins of the Pod. If you weren't aware, we have a Discord channel for the Misconceptions Podcast Network where you can chat about your favorite shows and anything else nerdy with all of the crew and other friends of the show. If you need to contact us, you can send us an email to misconceptionspod@gmail.com. Sins of the Father is only possible thanks to y'all, so we'd appreciate it if you would spread the word about our show if you enjoy it. If you're feeling especially generous, you can always donate to us through our Patreon page. However you decide to help, we greatly appreciate it. Sins of the Father is an actual play podcast using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition role-playing game by Wizards of the Coast. The Sins of the Father theme was composed by Aaron Wharton. You can find more of his music at aaronwharton.net. Sins of the Father is a part of the Misconceptions Podcast Network. That about covers it for now, and as always, keep rolling crits. Rest in peace, Boblin the Hobgoblin.
Boblin the Hobgoblin. They're always named Boblin, aren't they?
His name is Boblin Hoblin.
Boblin Hoblin the Hoblin Goblin?
The Hobgoblin. He's got a
Boblin.
limp.